Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Toxic Talks. I believe we're up to 16 now. Holy moly. Getting through them like crazy. But we got a lot to talk about for this week, so why don't we just start off with Throne and Liberty? So, we're practically done with my main build. We got the Burkant daggers. We only need one more level on that, and that's the traits and the levels and all that stuff. And the only thing we really need would be resonance, but that doesn't really matter. And technically speaking, mastery, but that comes with time. So for all things considered, we're done with our main build. For our alt build, though, we have a ton of work that needs to be done. Uh, we have a ton of levels. We got the traits done on our alt, thankfully. But we got a ton of levels, which means a ton of polished crystal farming. Um, Probably upwards of 10 hours of polished crystal farming, which I'm not looking forward to, but it is what it is. Um, we tried to do Nebula Island on Friday, but it seems like since it was Good Friday for the Christian folk out there, the island was very, very packed and was not an enjoyable experience. So, if you end up seeing right now, this is from the stream. We ended up getting on Tarkov relatively early. Just couldn't deal with it. So what we'll probably do is on Monday we'll add that. We'll change it from our alt to our main, and then our alt will get pushed back to Wednesday for Nebula. In terms of bugs and all that stuff, they ended up actually fixing it after a few weeks, which is definitely a positive. But I don't know why it took 2 weeks to get there. Um, not a fun experience, but at least they got it done. For the cheater though situation, we have a video coming out this week talking about all the negative stuff coming to or that has been going on with Throne, just bringing the attention. So I won't go too much in depth into it, but just know a lot of people are not very happy when it comes to Throne, at least at the current state of things. But um, we're still cranking, we're still grinding. Um, Also, in terms of exploiters, it's crazy the amount of I guess I should say YouTubers or content creators actually talking about this stuff. A little bit concerning. A little bit concerning. They sort of all turned on NCSoft. It seems like, but I don't think it's for a negative reason. I think they want to bring the attention to NCSoft that they're displeased with what's been going on with the current state of things, so that they change it. And I guess the same way for me, but we'll have to wait and see to what happens. Hopefully they fix the exploiters and cheaters and all that good stuff, cuz you know, it is a little disheartening. It is a little disheartening. But that's what's been happening with Throne. It's been so far it's been good. Can't complain too much. We're going through it pretty nicely. In terms of Tarkov, well, we're gonna get into a big announcement for that after we talk about what's been going on this week. But oh boy, was there a big announcement! But in terms of Tarkov, we actually ended up getting max strength finally. It only took like a few months, so now we're going to be working on endurance. But that's really like it was a big thing for me. I was like, I need to get that done so I can start running faster, carrying more, and just having a good time with Tarkov. But in terms of Lightkeeper quests, I at least for now we're basically putting that on a pause, just because I've seen how many looked at the comment section and the guides for how to get through them all, and I'm just like, yeah, this basically has to be done just explicitly by itself. There can't really be anything going on with it. You just have to just mind-numbingly do it. So, but it allows us to increase our endurance and all our other skills so that makes it, I would say, a little bit easier, but I don't think it's going to be terribly easy getting through the rest of the Lightkeeper. Well, I should say this next quest for the Lightkeeper. Um, Either way, I don't think there really is anything that terribly bothers me in terms of doing the rest of the Lightkeeper. I actually thought about it. I'm like, Sig Hybrid, I don't think it really matters to get that. So, but the mask though, that was incredibly important. Tier 4 mask, really, really game changer. But we are doing other quests. We're finally on the quest that gives us the extra pockets. So I think we're a few bitcoins away from that. So we probably will end up getting that sometime this weekend, and just have the big extra pockets. And then I'm gonna go through all the other quests that I possibly can, um, to figure out basically what I would want to do. I mean, pretty much technically, like, we're probably gonna go through all of them eventually, but it'll be a while. But for the ones that I want to do, shouldn't be too much longer. Shouldn't be too much longer. Maybe like a week or two until we're done with all those, and then we'll continue basically on to Lightkeeper, and then we'll see what ends up happening with that. Um, and Yeah, so I think with the announcement, I think is a real important one for anyone who does play Tarkov or is interested in the subject. But basically, Tarkov, if anyone knows, has been in beta for almost, I want to say, over a decade now. Um, and they finally announced pretty much the release of it. They haven't like given a exact release date, but we can confer, like, basically infer that it's going to be coming out September of this year. Um, and they said that their story is going to be complete, everything's going to be complete. And yesterday's yesterday's stream, we actually almost had uh, a meltdown because I saw something where they're like PVE getting wiped, and I'm like, don't you fucking dare! After I got max strength and I'm working on all these other things, I'm like, please don't make me repeat doing all this. But basically, from what they what they said is, if you want to do the final quests on Terminal, you're gonna have to like basically wipe your PVE account. Uh, Basically, the whole thing of it is to not spoil it for the people who are playing PvP. So I would have to assume that eventually, even if you don't wipe your account, that the quest will eventually come out for the people who didn't want to wipe. But who knows? Either way, it's not really a game changer to me. I think I just want to see how it ends, unless there's quests that give incredible rewards or whatever. I don't see myself caring. So, but hopefully they do eventually come out with it, because I do not plan on wiping, and I feel like a lot of other people won't plan on wiping just because they like the progress that they've made and they don't want to get rid of it. But we will have to wait and see. Maybe eventually, maybe in a few years, I'll end up wiping my PVE account and trying to do it if they don't end up, but only time will tell. But that's pretty much what's been happening with gaming in my life. Very excited to hear that Tarkov is finally being released, and they have a bunch of other things in there, but it doesn't really matter for this discussion. But um, one thing I do want to talk about this week, and it's sort of a question a lot of people get asked, is like, oh, if you had to go back in time, would you change anything, or would you end up in the same place knowing what you know now? Um, First and foremost, I personally would not want to change anything, but if I had to go back with the knowledge that I had, clearly things would change, obviously. But um, if I had to completely restart it, I don't think I would. I don't think I would change anything, because people think negatives are, well, just negatives. However, for me, I personally view everything that's happened to me in my life, including the negatives, the positives, all as learning. Um, so if I had to go back with the knowledge of, obviously, I think I would have to say that things would probably have turned out differently, but I don't live my life by regrets. And if I was to give advice for this week is I would say the exact same thing to you. Don't live your life with regrets. Everything is either a positive or a positive with some teaching involved in there. Um, it is an interesting thing though because I think and it's really sad to see, but I think a lot of people do regret a lot of things in their lives. Um, it's it's something that I think people should, at least in my case, I think people should try to not live their life with regrets. Shit happens to everyone, and you can either turn it into a positive or you can regret your life. And I think one clearly is better to do than the other, but that's just me. But it sort of stems from things like, oh, would like if you had a time machine and you went back in time, how rich could you get or how powerful you can get? And you know I think people should appreciate the position that they're in life. Don't get me wrong, some people have it worse off than others, but there's always positives to everything. The whole saying of everything has a silver lining, and I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Maybe not 100% everything, but I think 99% of things there's always a positive spin, and I would say look for that in your life. Um, Living in the negative isn't terribly great. And you guys have seen, even with me, with what's been going on with my life for 2025. I did have a good 2024, I will say that, but 2025 has been pretty challenging for me. But what I would say is I still try to leave a positive spin on things, and I always sort of tell myself it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be worse. So be thankful for that it's not worse. And there's always a lot to be thankful for. I know I say that a lot of the toxic talks, but I really do mean it. There is a tremendous amount to be thankful for in your life, especially if you live in the United States. Um, I think it was Jimmy Carr who made this point, a comedian nonetheless, but 100 years ago, there wasn't even hot running water. So being able to take a hot shower is considered a luxury, only to happen within, like, I think maybe even the past 50 years. I don't remember exactly how many years he said, but just imagine that if you were born just a few decades sooner, you would not even be able to have a hot shower. So just remember that. Don't live your life with regrets. Don't live your life with, I would say, trauma. Try to continue to push forward, even in the negativity. Just know everyone has negative things going on in their life. And the best thing you can do, and I know it is a tough thing to do because it took me a while to learn this, but if you can learn it, the quicker the better. Always go out with a smile and always know that there is positives in all facets of life. But that is what I have for you guys this week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. And a quick little thank you. Not too many people watch Toxic Talks compared to my other videos, but for those who do, we hit 1K subs, so the giveaway will be for this week. And I wholeheartedly appreciate everyone who helped get us there because without you guys, well, there's no Toxic. There's no me. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. And so a big thank you to each and every one of you guys. Stay tuned for this week because we are doing that giveaway. And should be a good week. We got some interesting videos coming out for you guys. Um, some discussion and some of that. But That is all I have for you guys. So I hope each and every one of you guys has a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And as always, take care. I'll talk to you guys later.